In this video, I will discuss the illusion, and I will give you a powerful saying to help you live in reality, more reality, morality. I am not a Christian in the sense that most of you understand. I am someone who's dedicated to the martial arts order of God that Christianity helps to refine in the absence of an explanation of Haru the Elder that is believable and complete from Narmer's time. Les Ra, martial, backwards. The M is the arc, the H is the fence. To martial, to order. When one considers what the magic / psychological trick and illusion really are, the only way for one to break the mind control is to focus intensely and with discipline on this saying. Intense, masculine, black African, martial arts warrior spirit with light contact, mind, body, soul sparring that leads to honor, morality, dedication, determination, and an understanding of the tall athletic build of Pharaoh. Now let's stop right there. I am not saying black in the sense of evil or darkness. I believe in pure light, pure honesty, pure truth, the pure way, the pure life, the true meaning of life, the true meaning of wealth, if you will, spiritual wealth. And I'm not saying everyone has to be tall and athletic, and certainly I am not saying everyone has to be black. I am saying that you must understand what the argument was and why, to force yourself to live in reality, because these things have been obscured by people who don't want you to understand their motivations. We have years and years of European depictions of angels and so on. This wouldn't be such a bad thing if their motivations were completely honest and pure. But these are concessions made with the white power structure, the white establishment, and their allies, if you will, for the purpose of maintaining the illusion, the psychological construct. And of course, it is a reaction to Haru, the H is the fence, or Ero, or Eri, or Ara, or hair, A, the heir, A, the heir to the throne of Egypt, and to the Pharaoh in the right direction of humanity. This was more than a racial disagreement, because Pharaoh was mixing, certainly over time. And it wasn't a result of accepting their view. It was what happens naturally when you focus on the spirit. But if you focus on the flesh and maintain a certain basic paradigm from Haru as the archetype of Pharaoh, it gives you Min-Hor, Con-Hor, the baby horse, and like 30 plus other forms, the golden horse, etc. But Haru, the only begotten son, is the only true form of Pharaoh. Pharaoh is not your slave master, and we'll get into that momentarily. If you are having trouble, you must repeat it over and over again. What groups are doing the illusion and why? Intense, masculine, black African martial arts warrior spirit with light contact, mind, body, soul, sparring that leads to honor, morality, dedication, determination, and an understanding of the tall athletic build of Pharaoh. The racial, political, social, financial, and spiritual motivations of the group building the psychological labyrinth are addressed by this saying. Understand. One must understand. The people did it to understand Haru war arts. Okay? The people that did it to understand Haru war arts and to cover up the light to the best of their ability so they can look good, right? The image, the mage, eye mage, and so on. The heart is the seat of intelligence. So let's go over again what it means to be wise. I can't go over this enough in my videos. Wise, idios, form, idion, to see. So what form? God's form, not this martial arts system or that, but God's form is expressed through the animal, the human, etc. witten, to know. Unusual discernment and judgment when dealing with people. This is the truest definition of wise, to be wise, that I chose. Okay, it is the works, it is the application. If you know better and you don't do it, you say, well, you know better. Jesus said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. The archaic version, from the people who made the language, okay, the people who made the language, not their race, but the people who made the language, skilled in magic or divination. So to them, making the psychological construct, quote unquote, masterfully is wise. To me, unusual discernment and judgment, or higher judgment, divine judgment, when dealing with people is wise. Which one truly is wise? Defying the Creator without even having defined him, not even able to understand him, but yet you defy his logical path to be right with him. He who truly has control over life and death. Is that wise? Or perhaps discerning what God really wants and acknowledging that he is a higher, more powerful spiritual being. So above magic, I saw maggot. Remember, maggots come in different colors. This is not racial. And I believe I came across the definition of maggot, ironically, not just the little slimy little animal, but a fantastic or eccentric idea. It is like you are going to remain this kind of more primitive, disgusting, ground-crawling creature, like the caterpillar never becoming the butterfly again. The butterfly is their psyche kind of perspective. They believe in the transformation, but they've watered it down to massage their egos. Okay. Magic, magos. Remember, the T is the plus. You know, it's very similar to maggot. Magus, sorcerer. This is where you get the word magic. The use of means. Remember, the ends justify the means? Well, how do you know the end? Only God knows the end. He's the beginning and the end. So how can you know that it's justified by your magic? You don't. You're selfish and immature and irresponsible and so on. Dishonorable, to say the least. Such as, so the use of means such as charms, right? Charming, how it relates to reproduction, and elegance versus grace. Elegance implies a certain amount of money more often than not, right? Charms or spells believed to have supernatural power over natural forces, right? They don't actually do, they are believed to have these powers. B, magic rites or incantations. On-cant-a-shun. But the snakes insist on it. Magic rites, right? Scottish rite, York rite. Who's right? Versus magic rites. Wordplay. 2, an extraordinary power of or influence, seemingly from a supernatural source. It appears to be, like psychology and psychological mind tricks, right? B, something that seems to cast a spell, enchantment, right? Chanting versus dwell on the idea. If you cannot just think about the idea to break the spell, then repeat the truth like a prayer or something. Versus a chant, a mantra, right? Man, Ra, versus the other ways it is applied. 3, the art of producing illusions by sleight of hand. Doesn't underhanded to come to mind? Define, right? Define. De-fan-a. Break the spell. The oral idea, sound thought, sound mind. So if I focus on their language and their spelling and so on, instead of the ideas that they are trying to communicate, what happens is not like focusing on the flesh or the material world and not the spirit. We'll get into that in a moment. I have to go a little quicker. I'm running out of time. Intense, masculine, black African art spirit. So manifest, man, I, face. The T is the bus. Hor is face. Pharaoh is the God among men. And you can kind of say the sun is the face of God that we see, right? is the face, but inside of it is the spirit. I don't worship the sun. That is simply the face. I worship the spirit that the face communicates. Okay. Pharaoh is the god among men. Magicians all seek to take his place together and put him beneath everyone else. The pyramids were built in a martial arts spirit, with everyone having their rightful place to express and build the martial arts spirit of the nation while working on the people's mind, body, and soul. When you feel the devil pulling, you picture that red, the principle of evil. Picture a demon inside of you, and in a motion, swing your hand similar to the flapping of a wing and cast it to the ground. Put it beneath your feet. It was the absence of a martial arts order that prevented any structure on earth from being built as naturally and magnificently ever again. With all due respect, this is the structure that symbolizes God's direction. Other things are spiritual systems, artwork, but they're outside of the divine order. They are beautiful works. This is my truth to you. I don't, the Igbos their land is not in Egypt. If that puts things into perspective, nor is my white side. This is not the land that they value and so on. If God chose one black African martial arts society to lead man after they all agreed on the form of the competition, how would the world be at this point? It would be just like it is right now. Think about why I say that and why that is. All right, the great Xi. And sometimes I find myself talking like this. I'm not acting. There's a reason for that. And some of you can ascertain why that is. And it is not my fault, nor am I being evil, nor am I lying, to help you figure out that answer. The great Xi lays L, Marshall backwards, the M is the arc, okay? And, let's see, lays Ra, lays Ra, right? Marshall backwards. And Tree Ra are hidden in the phrase martial arts. Also, it is tree or freeze A or E. And they do things to throw me off. I could be thrown off here. Freeze A. Okay, the phrase, right? Freeze A, right? The phrase can also freeze the A. It can freeze you, have you turned to stone like alcohol? Look at the wordplay there. Or, it can free you, right? So on the smoking weed and being stoned and so on. All right, and that's a state of mind that can be induced by different chemicals in different ways. Okay, and there's various variations of this, right? What degree are you turned to stone and so on? Okay, and gargoyle and so on. Our oil and so on. Lord, lard, right? Bull, focusing on the flesh. What is meant by this is that they describe God and the work is part of the Spirit of God. The falcon is trained by God, and in doing so, it picks up at God's speed, right? Swooping down, it picks up on things, right? With precision, and also why no man in the sunlight temple can be your master. Also, transferable skills to pick up weapons, draw weapons in battle, draw on the Spirit, and so on. The very idea of a master is repugnant in a society where they recognize and apply the fact God has given man free will. This is also the difference between free labor and labor done out of understanding, this kind of labor, and slave labor, a labor done out of bullying or mind control, or both, which is what goes on in our society. The state of the world is slavery, and if one does not choose death, then one is the slave of the devil. Master, magician, mason, plantation owner, degree holder, and more all contribute to the atmosphere of slavery. Angels and demons, think Jude and Revelation, Michael, right? As we see with ISIS, slaves are raped, and it is often legal in many countries in different forms, and it also is an unspoken rule. The main question the Bible attempts to answer is what should one do in a world of slaves and satanic masters? This leads one to the unanswerable, what exactly is the penalty for complicity? Pen el, pen all. Okay, we know in spirit, well, to a certain level. Obviously, defiance together does not reduce the penalty. Jesus represents a force that goes after the lost sheep, whereas I represent the protector and avenger, not the good shepherd. Okay, it's not my job to go after the lost sheep, but demand that they stand firm with God, and Jesus sorts through the mess later. It is in my generation that the sun gate closes. Therefore, when the devil is cast out of heaven, I am Michael, and it is my call. My shu El, my spirit is God. The eye beholds the spirit that is God. ICAL. Magic incorporates elements of martial arts and psychology to appeal to man's